Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ruchi ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Dean.
Good morning and good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, you are right. In Australia, it is noon time. So today we are going to start this beautiful webinar related to Deepavali, and most beautiful part of this episode that Dr. Ruchi Singh, who is head of department of the tourism department of Manipal University, Udaipur. And the same time, she is a regional level guide and social media coordinator of Tourist Guide Federation of India, vice president of Tourist Guide Association Udaipur, member of post committee, which is the 5-star hotel committee in Udaipur. So other than this, she is a travel advisor, travel planner. She is also the member of Uzbekistan Government Ministry of Tourism Development Committee under the presidentship of Prime Minister of Uzbekistan. They have also the Tourism Development Committee, and she is also advisor in that committee. She represented more than 1,000 webinar on tourism and the tourism developments. We are very much proud that she is a guide and the member of Tourist Guide Federation of India. We all work under Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, and our motto is always to enhance the tourism in India and in the world. So this was a small introduction about Dr. Ruchi Singh. And Dr. Ruchi Singh, as you and the Dean both are a good friend. And if you will introduce the Madam Dean, it will be wonderful. Please, Dr. Ruchi Singh.
Yeah, thank you so much. Sabse pehle aap sabhi ko namaskar. And I would like to wish happy Diwali to everyone who is watching this webinar. And it's a great privilege. Thank you, Mr. Ajay Singh, who is the president of TGFI. You said that it's a small introduction, but it's an introduction with such big words. Thank you so much for such a fine introduction. And I would like to correct a little thing which you said, that I represent Manipal University. I represent Bhopal Nobles University in Udaipur. And here I was discussing with Ajay Singh ji before about the topic. So I thank Ministry of Tourism and Ajay Singh ji for entrusting me with such a fine and such a close to heart topic, Deepavali. Earlier, I thought, that what to say about Deepavali. I told Ajay Singh ji, Diwali is just a festival of lights and lamps. What am I going to speak for half an hour? Because since childhood, we have been, just celebrating the festival with firecrackers, lighting diyas, wearing new clothes, and eating a lot of sweets and all. But what to say about Diwali? But this is such a great responsibility. This topic is very close to heart of every Indian, and not only Indian. Nowadays, I think it is very close to world over. And this, when I was just, researching about the topic, because this is religious, this is related to the sentiments of the people. So we have to be very cautious while presenting what Diwali means. So I decided upon the topic that let's choose Diwali as a plethora of myth, belief, and reality. So let's, because being a guide, we are also known as storytellers. And there is a reason behind every occasion, every celebration. So why not, tell stories to people that why we celebrate Diwali? These 5 days festivities, they have a reason behind it. So let's discover some of these stories, and then see that what beliefs people have behind them, and what is actually the reality. So after discussion with the Ajay ji, I discussed with one of my close friend, Diane Scanlon. She's from Australia. She is actually an advisor to me also, because I consider her not only as a friend, but as a mother too. She's a travel designer, travel advisor, and she's a proud owner of Enticing series of Enticing Bhutan, Enticing India. And she makes lovely, amazing itineraries. She always goes a step ahead to make her guests comfortable. And I have traveled myself along with her to Bhutan. So she's a lovely lady who has a very clear vision of how travel can, sail across the world. So we both will be presenting about Deepavali, the Festival of Lights, and I thank Ministry of Tourism for entrusting this responsibility to me. And we also thank Ministry for initiating Dekho Apna Desh webinars and this initiative also. And besides this Dekho Apna Desh, I believe that we should also start, because along with Dekho Apna Desh, I feel that it is Samjho Apni Sanskriti, Sikho Apne Sanskar. So by conducting these webinars, we side by side we learn about our culture, we learn about our samaj, about our values, about our morals. So without wasting much of the time, I would like to start my presentation, which will because there are a lot of stories, and there are a lot of depictions in every nook and corner of India about the celebrations and the reasons behind it. So I have been quite cautious, but I cannot go in detail about the stories. So I've taken little snippets and little crux of all the stories. So I'll be sharing my screen. So here you can see that Deepavali, a plethora of myth, belief, and reality. So what do we mean by Deepavali? Why do we celebrate Deepavali? So Deepavali, as we all know, that it means row of lighted lamps. And as per Hindu calendar, this 5-day festival of Diwali is celebrated on the new moon day. It ends the month of Ashwin and begins in the month of Kartik. And as being a Hindu, we all know that this Kartik month is considered as very auspicious. Earlier in my childhood days, and even today also, a lot of girls and a lot of ladies, they have the Kartik Snan for 1 month. Early in the morning, they rise up and they take a bath from cold water. So it is considered a very auspicious month for all the religious activities. So this Deepavali, it begins on the 13th day of dark half of Ashwin and ending on the second day of bright half of Kartik. That is Shukla Paksh. So first day, what we call the first day of celebration is the Dhanvantri Triyodashi. Dhanvantri Triyodashi, mostly we relate it with Dhanteras. That is the first day celebrated just, worshipping and praying to get more and more money. But then I would like to clear some of the concepts that what do you mean by Dhanvantri Triyodashi and why do we celebrate it? And what is the actual purpose of celebration of Dhanvantri Triyodashi? Then the second day is Narak Chaturdashi or Choti Diwali. The third day, which is the main day, where we, with these 5 days, we, just celebrate lighting diyas and all, and we just go off with the firecrackers. But this third day, especially, where all the world, not only in India, they do a lot of lighting, they go off with firecrackers everywhere. So this is the actual Diwali day. And fourth day is Govardhan Puja. And besides Govardhan Puja, here nearby Udaipur and most of the places, it is also known as Annakuta Divas. The fifth day is Bhratri Dooj or Bhai Dooj. Now, these all 5 days, they have different stories, and many myths and legends are associated with the festivity. And this is not what we are talking about today, but we have been hearing about the stories from our grandparents, and these have been followed through centuries, and we find the details and some mentions in the scriptures as well. The first day is Dhanteras. You can see the pictures of Lord Dhanvantri. Recently I was listening about a video of Sadhguru on WhatsApp, and he was also mentioning that people are considering Dhanteras as the day to worship and worship to get more money. But then it is related to Lord Dhanvantri. We should be worshipping Lord Dhanvantri for the best of health we can get. So this is especially, I would like to emphasize more on it, because this is a Sanskrit word, dhan teras. Dhan means money, and teras is the 13th day. So Dhanteras is especially a day dedicated to Lord Dhanvantri. And there are, some stories which I would like to just narrate to you in short. That story of the birth of Lord Dhanvantri and Samundra Manthan. Most of the people, I'm sure you might have heard about the stories of Samundra Manthan, but I will just go in short about Samundra Manthan and how Lord Dhanvantri came into being. So Samundra Manthan, or we say Amrit Manthan or Sheesh Sagar Manthan, this is one of the most significant episodes which led to the birth of the divine goddesses, angels, and many precious valuables. We have been hearing since our childhood that this remarkable event of the churning of the Milky Ocean, it finds its mention in Bhagavad Puran, Vishnu Puran, and even Mahabharata. Samundra Manthan means, for our overseas listeners, Samundra Manthan means churning of the ocean. Samudra is ocean and Manthan is churning. So here the story goes that Lord Indra, he's highly revered in the Vedas. He's the king of the heavens, thunder, storm, rain, lightning. So once he was riding across on his elephant Airavata. You might have heard that the Airavata was the elephant and Indra used to ride on him. Then Indra and Airavata came across a sage known as Durvasa. Sage, being Indra a very revered one, sage offered him an auspicious garland presented to him by Shri. Shri is goddess Lakshmi. So he offered that to Lord Indra, and Lord Indra accepted the garland and placed it as an ornament on Airavata's trunk. Airavata, with the smell, got infuriated and he threw the garland on the ground. So that was, Sage Durvasa took it as an insult. He got very angry. And then he cursed Lord Indra and other gods that they would lose all their powers, all their wealth, all their energies, fortune, and strength. So this curse, this was quite devastating for the gods and the goddesses, and they lost all their powers and started losing all their energies and betters to the asuras. Asuras are the demons. So, and Asura king, the demon king Bali, he won all the battles against Devas and gained the whole control over the universe. So with this, the gods approached Lord Vishnu that now what to do? We have lost everything. How can we regain it back? And the goddess Lakshmi also went away from them. So now Lord Vishnu just gave them the suggestion that with the churning of the ocean, you can regain your all energies, all the power. He advised that only the elixir that resided in the bottom of the Shir Sagar. Elixir is the ambrosia, the nectar, which is for the immortality. So how to do that churning of the ocean? It was very difficult. So again, Lord Vishnu suggested that you can take the help of the asuras and you can assure them that they will also be given the nectar for the immortality. And this was the first time, mythologically, we see that was the first time when they both just put their effort together to attain something. And with the assurance of the sharing of the immortality, they both tried to churn the ocean. Then Lord, even, in earlier days until today, we worship mountains, we worship trees, we worship Mother Nature, various, plants and all, animals. So Mount Mandara was used as the churning rod, and snake god Vasuki was used as the churning rope. And here, as we often, read and hear about the incarnations, when Mount Mandara was getting down in the ocean, Lord Vishnu took the avatar of Kurma, that was the turtle. So it took Mount Mandara on his back to offer support to the mountain. And this way, the both asuras did held the, the head of the snake, and devas, they caught hold of the tail, and both churned the ocean. And with this churning came out many of the precious things out of the ocean. 14 ratnas emerged from the ocean, and they were divided among the devas and the asuras, the demons, because this was promised that whatever would come out of the churning, that would be shared equally among both asuras, demons, and the devas. And if you have heard about Kamdhenu Gai, Kamdhenu cow, it came out of that churning, that wish granting cow. So Lord Vishnu gave it to the sages. Then 7-headed horse named Uchai it was given to Bali, the demon king. Then Parijata tree also came up, and it was taken to heaven by the gods. And another tree also came, which produces alcohol and wine, named Varuni. It was taken by Thesaurus. Then emerged goddess Lakshmi. She chose to marry Vishnu. Chandra, the moon. Moon also emerged out of the churning of the ocean, which was adorned by Lord Shiva. And, when they started the churning in the beginning, there was a poison called halahal that came out. And halahal, it was said that it would destroy whole entire universe. So Lord Shiva came in front. He drank the halahal. And at that time, his consort, Parvati, supported him by putting her hand tightly on the neck of Lord Shiva. So the poison just remained there in the neck. And when we hear about Neelkant is the name given to Lord Shiva. So when we hear about Neelkant, that means the reason behind calling him Neelkant is the wish remained in the neck of Lord Shiva. These stories are quite interesting because we have been hearing about different names and different, these type of terms and all. But when we read the stories, when we come to know about it, that Kamdhenu, this cow, we heard about it. But how it came out, these are the reasons. How the moon came out of after the churning of the ocean, and Shiva adorned on his head. And finally, Dhanvantri. We are talking about Dhanteras, Dhanvantri Triyodashi. So Dhanvantri, the physician of the gods, he came out and he emerged holding the pot of the nectar for the immortality. Now this pot of nectar was a fight between asuras and devas. Then, the Garuda, Vahan of Vishnu, Vishnu's eagle, Garuda, took the pot and flew away. Now, few drops of nectar, they fell in Prayagraj, Haridwar, Ujjain, and Nasik. Now, these are the places which are related to Kumbh Mela, which is celebrated after every 12 years. So now the nectar which fell on these places. So this is the reason behind celebrating Kumbh Mela at these particular places. Now somehow one of the asura got hold of that pot. Now how to take the pot away from the asuras so that they should become immortal? So Lord Vishnu again took the he disguised himself as one of the beautiful women or the angel called Mohini. And Mohini somehow convinced and took back the pot of the nectar, and she distributed among the gods for the immortality. And during this time, when all the gods were taking, all the devas were taking the nectar, one of the asura disguised himself as a god, and he was also about to receive the nectar. Mohini, she came to know through some of the gods that this asura has disguised. So he had taken some drops, and then Lord Vishnu cut his head. So the head and the body fell apart. So if you have heard about Rahu and Ketu, so these were the demons, Rahu and Ketu. The actual story behind Rahu and Ketu is this, that they were two parts, and which were just cut off by the Lord Vishnu. Now, this is the story of Dhanvantri god, and it's not only at the time of the Samudra Manthan, after the gods realized that there is a lot of diseases on earth. So long back in history, we hear that this is the first time when God took the form of a human being, and Lord Dhanvantri took birth in Kashi, in the royal family. And he was the first known physician or the surgeon of India, and he invented Ayurveda. We hear about Ayurveda. So he is the god behind the Ayurveda. So this is the main story of Lord Dhanvantri. And there's another story of King Hema. If we relate it with the monetary aspect and all. So King Hema, there was a curse that legend says that he was cursed by, predicted for his death by a snake bite on the 4th night of his marriage. So to evade this, evade his death, his wife, she thought of a plan, and she didn't allow him to sleep for that night, and laid down all her ornaments, all gold and silver coins in a heap at the entrance of the doorway. And she also lit lamps all over the palace. So when Yamraj, in the form of snake, when he arrived at the doorsteps, his eyes were dazzled by the brilliance of all the jewelry and the lamps. So what he could do was, he was unable to enter the chamber. So he just climbed on the heap of those ornaments, coins, and all those dazzling, lights. So he just sat there. The wife couldn't, she didn't let him sleep, telling him the stories. So the snake, Yamraj, just kept sitting there hearing the stories, and the whole night passed away, and the snake went back in the morning. So the life was bestowed to the King Hema, and he was saved from the clutches of death. He thanked to his wife, and this is how the festival of Dhanteras also started. So these are the legends which we hear as stories. Now, there's not actually a story of gambling, but then we hear that on Dhanteras, actually, in we shouldn't support this. Then on this Diwali time and on Dhanteras, people do gamble, and it is considered as quite positive and fortunate that if you win in gambling, then this will bring more money. And this is a sort of a customary for the people, especially for the business class and the people who enjoy gambling, to gamble on this particular night on the 13th. Narak Chaturdashi. This is the second day, Narak Chaturdashi. Now, this is a very interesting story of Lord Krishna and demon king Narakasura. Narak Chaturdashi is also known as Roop Chaudas or Roop Chaturdashi. And there are various, in different parts of India, all these 5 days are known by different names as per their own stories and legends behind this. So Narak Chaturdashi is, there was this demon king, Narakasura, and he used to rule the kingdom of Pradyoshapuram. He was very wicked, and one of his wicked deeds was that he used to kidnap beautiful women and forced them to live with him. Now, to prove his power, he stole the earrings of Aditi, mother of gods. The gods were not happy, and they approached Lord Krishna for help. Now, Lord Krishna was knowing that there was a curse which was laid upon Narakasura, that he can only be killed by his mother. Otherwise, nobody can kill him. So this curse saved, this curse was a boon actually in the form, because Krishna was knowing that his wife Satyabhama, she was a mother in one of her birth. She was a mother to Narakasura. So he made a plan. And Satyabhama, he took along Satyabhama to kill Narakasura. So he asked her to drive the chariot, and he went to battle with the demon. So Narakasura, in the battle, Narakasura shot an arrow at Lord Krishna, and who pretended to be hurt. At that time, Satyabhama took the opportunity to make use of it, and she took the Krishna's bow and arrow and killed the demon instantly. But then she declared that her son's death should not be a day of gloom, and it should be celebrated as a power of good over ill, good over evil. So this is the day when we celebrate it as Choti Diwali or Narak Chaturdashi. And after killing of Narakasura, Lord Krishna took he cleansed the splattered blood from his body through the oil. So by rubbing oil into the body and having special oil bath is also a part of ritual during the Diwali celebrations. And there is we call it Roop Chaturdashi, and most of the ladies, they associate this with going to beauty parlors and taking those perfumed baths, getting this is the day when we can pray for both healthy body as well as for the beautiful body. And in the northern states like UP, MP, Haryana and all, Hindus take a ritual bath and perform meditation. So this is again another day of celebration as Roop Chaturdashi. Then the main Deepavali and Dev Diwali comes, where we all are very familiar about Lord Rama's return after 14 years of exile. So I won't be narrating the story of Lord Rama's and his fight with Ravana, because we all are very much familiar. So we know that when Lord Rama returned on the night of the Amavasya, it was dark. So people welcomed Lord Rama, his wife Ma Sita and Lakshmana. So to illuminate or to lighten up the dark area, they lighted the lamps, earthen lamps, and celebrated with a great honor. So that was the story of Rama's return, and we celebrate Deepavali on that particular day. Then there is story of goddess Lakshmi and Lord Vishnu. That is, the legend says that goddess Lakshmi married Lord Vishnu on this particular day. She chose Lord Vishnu, the preserver of universe, to be her husband on the night of Deepavali. And then there is the story of Pandavas. We also know about the story of Pandavas in the Mahabharata, that after the exile of 13 years, when they returned back to Hastinapur, so people and King Dhritarashtra and the other Bhishma, Pitama and all, they just to honor their comeback, they just gave them an honorable welcome. People of Hastinapur were so delighted. They lighted lamps just to lighten up the path, because it was Amavasya night. So these are three of the occasions which, and there might be many more in different parts of India, but then these are the three important which I have tried to highlight on Dev Diwali. Then this is Govardhan Puja, or the Annakut Mahotsav, or we call it as Vishwakarma Divas also. So there is a story about Govardhan Puja, that is very Govardhan Parvat or Govardhan Puja, that why we celebrate it. So this is a very interesting one. And mythology says that the residents of Vrindavan used to pray to Lord Indra for good rain. And seeing this as a regular practice, Lord Krishna, who was only 7 years of age at that time, he told them that why do you have to pray to Lord Indra for the rain? It is his duty to shower the rain and to bring the prosperity. So instead of praying to Lord Indra, you should pray to Govardhan hills and cows. And the residents started doing it. They started to pray to the cows in Govardhan hill. And Lord Indra took this as an insult. He got infuriated and he ordered the Samvartaka clouds to devastate, to destroy the entire Vrindavan and to inundate it with water. Now the Brijvasis were very scared of the wrath of Lord Indra, and they took shelter to Krishna. They asked him what to do now. And seeing their fear, Krishna lifted the entire Govardhan hill on his left hand, this small finger. He lifted the entire Govardhan Parvat and kept it on that finger for 7 days. So he protected all the residents from the downpour. And the Govardhan Puja is a tradition since that day. We just read it in the stories, and the legend says that afterwards, since after that day, we started doing the Govardhan Puja. So people, they were quite safe under the Govardhan Parvat. And Annakut Mahotsav is like the people, they paid their homage to Lord Krishna in the form of 56 different types of delicacies offered to him. And this is the particular time, whatever the season allowed, they gathered. We celebrated today also, that we make Annakut. Annakut is a form of a curry where you mix the cereals with the vegetables, the seasonal vegetables which we get. We cook them together and we offer it to the god. That is a form of giving thanks to the god for protecting them. And another story related, or not story, but we call it as Vishwakarma Divas also. Lord Vishwakarma is known as the god of machinery or the tools or the craftsmanship. So people in different corners who believe in Vishwakarma, they celebrate it as Vishwakarma Divas. And as per mythology, he was the god of weapons and tools, and he was the one who created them. So it is Vishwakarma Divas is also considered as the symbol of quality and excellence in craftsmanship, and therefore his Vishwakarma, Lord Vishwakarma, birthday is also celebrated on this day. Then Bhai Dooj. Bhai Dooj, today we are celebrating Bhai Dooj, or it is known also as Yamadvitya. Yamadvitya is the story of Yamraj and Yami. Yamraj is the lord of death. And it is said that Yami, or in some of these stories we read as her name, his sister's name was Yamuna. So Yami, on many occasions, she used to invite her brother, but her brother didn't get the time to come and attend the occasions. So once Yamraj thought to visit his sister. And when he visited his sister, Yami, she was so happy that she welcomed him with great jest and fervor. She organized a big feast for him. And with that, through her happiness and all, Yamraj was very happy. And then he just gave her the boon, the blessing, that because she happily welcomed him and he gave blessings to her. Then she asked him that one day, just give me this particular blessing, is this particular one day is should be celebrated as the day of brother and sister, that brother should visit, and you should promise me that you should visit me this particular one day in a year. So brothers, on this day, brothers visit their sisters, and it is said that when they visit the sister, eat the food there which is prepared by her, then she is considered to be Sobhagyavati. She gets the blessings from the brother, and the brothers also get a long life. So these are few of the stories. And another one is also related, because in some parts it is known as that after killing Narkasura demon, Lord Krishna went to visit his sister. And so after that day onwards, this day is also known as Bhai Dooj, and this is celebrated in some of the parts as um, just giving, thanking Lord Krishna and his sister. Now we come to beliefs that what are the reasons to celebrate the festivity. Now there are, these were the stories which we kept on hearing, and we learned many of the lessons also out of them. So people feel that this Kartik month, as it is very pious and all, so we feel that, and you might have got from the stories that it is the victory over evil. That whatever you are doing, just keep thinking that only goodness prevails. So you should always feel that the positivity, the victory will be at the end. And fresh start is for the people who consider it as a new year. It is mostly for the business class people, and not only the business class people as a new year, but a fresh start for any of if you have any hard feelings in your relationships or your friendships, then this is the time. Diwali is the time when you can meet and greet them with sweets, and with just start your relation as a fresh start. It is also considered as the time of good luck and prosperity. And I must thank Ministry of Tourism again for starting the Swachhata Pakhwada initiative and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, because we have been cleaning our houses mostly during the Diwali celebrations all over the India. People do clean because they want and they believe that wherever there is a cleanliness, the prosperity will prevail. God and goddesses always resides on the places which are clean. But then with the Swachhta Bharat Pakhwada, they have also, the government has tried to initiate that if you keep your house, your cities, your country clean throughout the year, then the good luck and prosperity will not only prevail during these days, but all the year round. And this is the time where you can settle your debts and your peace. So mostly especially related to business class people also. And because this is the time when we settle if we have taken any loans or something like that, and then the settled debts. And peace is again referring back to the fresh start, that we can have the peace and friendship within ourselves, unity in diversity. As India is known as the land of diversity, so every region celebrates Diwali with a great fervor. And in fact, I would like to give an example of the bordering state. Uh, Even India and Pakistan, they exchange sweets on this particular day. So there is, we can see that sort of peace, settling debts, unity in diversity is there. Family reunions. Earlier, when we were children, we used to just go to our family. Nowadays, a lot of things have changed, but earlier it was like we were knowing that we have to go to our ancestral, our grandparents' home, and every person used to come to the village. Every house, they were filled with all the people, like it was a sort of family reunion. And nowadays, overseas, mostly the people, NRIs and all, they think that on the Diwali time, they should visit their country, they should have a reunion with the family. Cleansing of households, I've already explained earlier. Then lightning gives us positivity. When you see a lot of diyas, a lot of lights everywhere on the road, then it gives you a very positive feeling. It brightens up your faces. So these are the beliefs. We light all the lamps, and Deepak, that diya, that wick, burning wick, gives you a hope. And I remember it's the saying of Lord Buddha, that apadipa bhava. And it's not only just the physical form, but you should light a lamp in your heart also. So these things are not only religiously related, but they are spiritually related, that you should always light a lamp in your heart. It should not only illuminate the world outside, but should be illuminating your inside. Rangoli. Then comes the Rangoli, that why do we make Rangoli? The Rangoli is a sort of a, people, the legends and the stories says that it is a sort of a magnet which attracts Goddess Lakshmi. She loves Rangoli. And in, And I would request that instead of pasting the stickers, you should make a rangoli of colors and flowers, because that gives the natural perfume, the scented thing. And these in white, the beautiful designs everywhere in India, we find beautiful rangolis. And this attracts Goddess Lakshmi to the home. And gambling also is considered at some of the areas, it is considered as bringing luck. But personally, I do not favor it. Then the reality, we comes to the reality. Reality says we will just shorten it by it has the influence on socio cultural, spiritual, and economic. Besides the stories, I would like to mention that King Vikramaditya, who was the biggest Hindu king, he was coronated on that day. So it is not only mythological, but it is historical festival. Jains believe that Lord Mahavira attained nirvana on this particular day. Sikh says that Sikh Guru Har Gobind freed from the captivity of Mughal Emperor Jahangir on this day. So there are different reasons behind celebrating. So you can see here, and Sikhs also celebrate the commemoration of the foundation stone for the Golden Temple in 1577. And there's a saying, Tamso ma jyotirgamaya, that is, you have to light your inside. The light will burn inside. So peace, harmony, brotherhood, awareness, and awakening, these are the things which we keep on just referring as the socio-cultural impact. And Tamso ma jyotirgamaya is lead me from darkness to light. An economic point of view, we keep on seeing the sale, Diwali dhamaka, Diwali bonanza, modern India's economy, big boon for e-commerce businesses. So these are the realities which I'm emphasizing. We celebrate as per the legends and stories. We have different beliefs, but in actual sense, what this is bringing is how it is uniting us as socio-cultural and spiritually. So you might have seen that however and whatever the dip may be in DGP or inflation, it cannot compel, it cannot stop Indians from celebrating it, from shopping. So this is Diwali or the other festivities, especially Diwali, I would say, because a lot of people go for shopping. It's a wedding season also. So people celebrate it. And Diwali festival is one of the biggest economic revival of economy, especially Indian economy, and overseas also people should consider as a revival of this economic revival. It should they should see Diwali as economic revival. And there is a Diwali Muhurat trading also in the stock markets, and especially 1 hour is given for that Diwali Muhurat trading. Because we believe in this. We Indians believe that on Diwali, if we do the trading for 1 hour, and it's mostly on the positive side. So the Sensex ends on the positive note, saying that we can expect a positive outcome in the coming year. And it is also considered as financial year. Then it generates a lot of employment. Then increase of production. It helps a lot of small and medium-sized enterprises, because this is a big business for textile workers, firecrackers, lights, paints, automobiles, jewelry, etc. And recently today I saw a video of Leicester in UK. People were celebrating Diwali with great fervor and enthusiasm. In different parts of the world, they are known as, like in Thailand, it is known as Loi Krathong, float a basket. And it is a public holiday in Malaysia, Mauritius, and Fiji. I might be missing some more names, but then these are the details which I'm sharing with you. And in many parts of the world, UK, Canada, Singapore, Indonesia, Fiji, Sri Lanka, and Nepal, wherever there is great Indian, population diaspora, they are celebrated. This festival is celebrated with great zest. Then depictions of Ramayana scenes is also a part of celebrations, not only in India, but out of India. And as per the Vedanta, we believe that every Hindu should fill his heart with the oil of love and light the wick of with the knowledge of truth, and light the wick with the knowledge of truth and the word of ignorance. Then the market revitalizing sentiments are there, and it gives a boost to the economy as a global manufacturer. Here I would like to share a beautiful tool. Sure, you will enjoy this. Krishna, Krishna. these are the two beautiful videos, and here, especially on this Ankut festival, there's a place called Nadwara near to Udaipur, as I live in Udaipur. So the Adivasis, or the tribal people, they especially gather on this particular day, Ankut Govardhan Puja, which was yesterday, and a lot of these cereals and anna is like they just it's sort of giving whatever they can gather or carry along with themselves. So it is a sort of a loot unko lootna, so they carry a lot of un with them. And in Vrindavan, especially, the cows and the calves are feeded on this day. People go to goshalas, and so these were the beautiful videos which I shared. And one more thing I would like to say, that Ayodhya has once again entered the Guinness Book of World Records with lighting up of more than 9.5 lakh diyas. And thanks to the government of India for organizing such beautiful, the festivity at Ayodhya, and making it more popular. And a very happy Diwali to you all. I've taken too much of time, and now I just give I request Diane to share her thoughts on Diwali. These were some of my details, which you can just note. Diane, you are welcome to speak.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you, Diane.
Thank you. Firstly, thank you to the Ministry of Tourism for inviting me today, and of course my dear friend Dr. Ruchi Singh. And I would say good afternoon from Australia. So you may be thinking, why would an Australian be invited to speak upon such an auspicious occasion? But as Dr. Ruchi rightfully pointed out in the beginning of her presentation, there are very, very large communities of beautiful, beautiful people around the world, not only from the Indian communities, but from other communities who now recognise the importance of the Diwali celebration. I've been very fortunate. I spent a month in India. It seems like forever ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And so I have a real appreciation of the importance of these festivals to the travel community abroad. Here in my home city, we've been celebrating. We have the Federation of India Community, and they have had wonderful celebrations in the heart of the city over the last few days. So to me, the simplicity of the Festival of Light embraces so much now for everyone, especially during these difficult times that we're going through. And so light, the Festival of Light, means so much to so many people. And I must admit, listening to Dr. Ruchi's presentation, it was very hard for me not to sort of go, oh my goodness, I hadn't realised just the depth of belief that goes into not only Diwali, but also all your other festivals. I was privileged to be there during Holi, and I had the most amazing time. It fell on my birthday, which was even more auspicious. So I just believe that the travel fraternity, it's so important. All of your mythology, if you wish to call it that, or your beliefs or your stories, they're so important to the world around, especially now. So I would just like to say that I believe the world has embraced the celebrations now, Diwali celebrations, because they need light, they need hope. And this is what I believe Diwali is giving everybody at this very, very present time. So not only Australians, and we are all waiting desperately to visit India again, but it will be wonderful once the world has opened again and we can celebrate with you, not only Diwali celebrations, but every celebration, every festival that happens in India. I think it's very, very important to the tourism industry to be able to express all of these wonderful stories that Ruchi has taken you through today. And I really look forward to perhaps meeting some of you in person in my next visit to India. So thank you once again for having me today. And I'm looking forward to a few more days of celebration before Diwali finishes. So thank you.
Very correctly said, this festivals bring a huge density in tourism. True, ma'am, very true. And regarding need of light and hope, indeed, the entire world is looking for it. The entire world seek it. Thank you very much for joining us, ma'am. And I also want to thank Ruchi ma'am for presenting it in such a beautiful way that I was listening to the stories, I was getting goosebumps. Mere rom khade ho rahe the. It was so amazingly presented. And Ajay sir, thank you again for being the support. Ma'am, you want to say something? You want to add on? Dean ma'am? I could see your
Only that I miss India terribly. I had such an amazing 4 weeks touring around the north, and then of course to finally meet with my dearest friend Ruchi and the entire family, her daughters and her beautiful husband. We just love India, as do a lot of my colleagues here in Australia. So we're just hoping that it's not too far in the future that we'll be able to come back and help to support the local people of India and bring as many tourists from, not only from my country, but that the rest of the world continues to embrace Incredible India, as it's called. It earned that title for a very, very good reason. So thank you once again.
Thank you, Dean ma'am. Thank you very much. It's Incredible India, indeed.
And one thing I would like to add, Matoshi ma'am, that we should all feel so proud of our rich culture and heritage, exactly. And we should always make an initiative to just tell these narrations, stories, and about our culture to our children. They should know about the value, and exactly. All over the world, these all festivities are celebrated with such lot of enthusiasm. So thanks to ministry and thanks to all the travel private operators as well for making India and its festivities so reachable to all the people. And thanks to Digital India too for making it accessible to everyone. And I really feel very proud to be an Indian. And
Ruchi Singh, actually, this is a wonderful initiative by Ministry of Tourism. And many people, if you go through the Dekho Apna Desh platform, you can see thousands of people, they watch these videos later and when they have time. So this is a wonderful initiative and we will keep it continue. And it is a wonderful initiative by the ministry. And like a friend, like Dean Madam, she joined us. It's a wonderful experience, and also she leaves some suggestions for us, and it is wonderful. In future also, if we will organize this kind of the webinar, we will love if the Dean Ma'am join as a travel advisor.
Absolutely.
Thanks, yes. Everyone. Thanks a lot. See you so much next week, same time.
Same time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Goodbye.
Namaskar.